Project Second Contact, Extra Comments. Hello again. Thank you for being here with me once more. I hope you are very well today. I am Marie. This information can be seen as science fiction, or as the viewer sees best, and I post it for entertainment purposes only. Still, I take my information very seriously, and for whoever has eyes to see. This is the second part of the last video. Although I didn't plan there to be a second part, I think there are many things still left unsaid. I know this subject interests many of you, mostly because of the potential interaction, and more closeness to friendly people not from Earth. And by itself it is quite interesting to see how this will develop, especially knowing all the tough problems the first project of this kind faced when it was operational some years ago. As I explained in my previous video, Project First Contact was most probably designed to fail, all as a manipulative strategy of the Galactic Federation to further obscure and dubious agendas. Although they deny this, it certainly does look so when observed with an educated eye. This second project still has no name of its own, so I am only calling it Project Second Contact for lack of a better one, and hoping such a name will not stick, as it is inappropriate and quite misleading, because as you have probably noticed when I rolled out my last video, the first thought that comes into mind is the fact that this project was supposed not to have any contact. Yet, observing the dynamics of this project closely, it cannot work without contact, even though the Taygetan operatives will be instructed to deny their stellar origin, if cornered by any people from the greater public. But having said this, and as we discussed here in my CIC work support group, the only people who would corner one of the Taygetan, Project Second Contact, operatives would be exactly you, my direct public, because it is you who know they are out there, and not the greater public, who in the end doesn't even care about these things. From the perspective of the greater public, it makes no sense to corner any individual and in a friendly way, or not, accuse him or her of being an extraterrestrial. It rather works the other way around. It is when an individual openly claims that he or she is an extraterrestrial when they are confronted by the greater public, demanded proof, attacked, ridiculed and so on, exactly as it happened during the now extinct Project First Contact, and in a massive scale. This will not be the case during this Project Second Contact, because the Taygetan operatives will be claiming to be simple Earth people, as they say here, ordinary people easy to confuse with another, therefore, they will be mostly safe. I know, because some gossip does get to me, that many of you, my public, will be actively searching online, trying to detect Taygetans posing as humans, perhaps even as a sport. I think this is quite inevitable, so, what can I say other than be responsible, respectful with one another, and, well, have fun. But I want you to know that we are aware of this. Yet, this is not the objective of this new project, seeding information all over the place, including in institutionalized, matrixed forums, such as scientific and philosophical ones, for example, those in some universities, online forums of the kind that are open to the public. Yet, medical science forums have been completely discarded, because we can anticipate strong problems coming from there if we would, for obvious reasons, except for alternative medicine, herbal forums, and similar ones, if they even exist. Taygetan medical science is quite the opposite of Earth's, so going into those forums will cause inevitable friction, to say the least. Although there could also be friction in the forums of other sciences, as experience has taught us, because back in 2017, during the last stages of Project First Contact, Anika of Tema, who was one of my predecessors, was kicked out of an MIT physics forum for mathematically proving the theory of relativity wrong, using human-only parameters. Long story short, she proved that by demonstrating that the speed of light is not a constant, therefore collapsing all the formulas that depend on it to be so. I quote an online definition of this to prove my point. No matter how you measure it, the speed of light is always the same. Einstein's crucial breakthrough about the nature of light, made in 1905, can be summed up in a deceptively simple statement: the speed of light is constant. End quote. Yet, and keeping things simple, in Earth's physics, space can warp, therefore causing light to take a shorter, or a longer time to travel the same distance. Therefore, and relatively speaking, for any practical purpose of an observer in a fixed external point, the speed of light was indeed affected. Then there is yet another big problem with claiming that the speed of light is a constant. You cannot measure any speed, as such, without a time unit to compare it by. I mean, all speed is derived from the time that something takes to move between points A and B. Earth science fully accepts that time is heavily affected by the presence of objects with a lot of mass, and by speed and movement. And I am not talking about black holes and dramatically large situations, because time is affected measurably, simply by suborbital space travel, proved so by matrix science. If time is not a constant, how can the speed of light be so, if it directly depends on the first? I strongly digress from the subject of this video, but this is an example of what the Taygetan operatives will be facing. Yet, we know that being confrontational is useless, therefore the operatives will be instructed and trained to leave information droplets, and not try to change anyone's mind or impose anything. Taygetans are not confrontational by nature anyway. And the Galactic Federation directly prohibits the introduction of technology above the one found on Earth anyway, as explained in detail in the infamous Prime Directive. Where the Taygetan operatives will be most active, will be in the spiritually oriented places and forums, including the New Age ones, and this is so obvious that I can even say this without falling into sharing too much. Now, inevitably this other thing will happen: beware of the countless trolls and posers who will want to impersonate a Taygetan online, because there will be many. Please remember that if they say they are one, then automatically they are not, because real ones will not be claiming such a thing. But the posers may skillfully lead you to think they are one on purpose, just for a laugh, so beware of that too. My point here is that it will be quite useless to go out there on the hunt for Taygetan operatives, because want it or not, they will be hidden under several layers of posers, misinformation, and matrix New Age things. Even more so as their objective is not to stick around only on forums and places that are connected to my group, or who are members of it, including Roberts and Gauchers, and their social circles. For those of you who do not know them, I am referring to Robert of Despejando Enigmas, in Spanish, and Gaucher of Cosmic Agency, and Agencia Cosmica, in English and Spanish. Those are YouTube channels, but they have social media attached to them. They have been transmitting my group's information years before me. Their objective is to diversify the online places where they will be working as much as possible, worldwide, and in as many languages as possible. As the total amount of Taygetan operatives will be around 500 worldwide, the chances of finding one, or bumping into one, are quite slim, even more so as they are doing their best to look as human as possible. Consider this before running around looking for them, because it probably will only be a waste of your time. Yet having said this, it is in the forums that are connected, or have something to do with my group, where the probability of finding one is the most. Yet having said this, it is in the forums that have some connection to my group where it is most probable to find one, statistically speaking, yet the operatives themselves know those are the places where they may be detected the most. As I said at the beginning of this video, contact and interaction are inevitable. I simply hope the operatives and their experienced guides are wise enough not to make the same mistakes as those in the first project. Another point I want to express is that we are aware of the similitude, or apparent connection of our group and its projects, with the controllers of Earth's plan to cause, or simulate an alien invasion. We know that everything extraterrestrial is being strongly promoted and pushed onto the public, to set their mentality as accordingly as possible to accept their plans. I must openly declare that we have nothing to do with this, or with them, and that is also one of the most important reasons why the Taygetan operatives must not openly say that they are not from Earth. Unless they find themselves in a contained closed online environment, with like-minded people, that will be their choice and they will be the ones who will have to take responsibility for their actions. Their mission is to seed concepts and information to elevate the vibration of the human collective unconscious, not to be online causing unnecessary drama and entertaining unprepared people. The operatives are conscious of all the problems from the first project and will be well adapted and prepared to face the new challenges. Thank you all for your love and support. You have no idea how much I appreciate it. I send a big hug to each and every one of you, my friends out there. This will be all for today. As always, thank you for watching my video, and for liking, sharing, and subscribing for more. And I hope to see you here next time. With much love, your friend, Mari Swaruu.